After paying off $43,000 worth of debt in just 13 months and using that momentum to build a net worth to over $800,000, I've learned that one savings decision can change your entire financial future. So in today's video, let's react to some real money saving situations that are happening on Reddit. Let's jump in. And we're gonna be using the subreddit Personal Finance. This post was from 2 days ago. Keep money saved for house or invest. I have roughly $60,000 outside of my $20,000 emergency fund that I keep liquid in hopes of buying a house. I'm 27 and have about $550,000 total in my investment portfolio, all S&P funds. I'm kind of waiting for interest rates to fall. I know they may not, but there is very few good houses that I see right now. Been looking for about 6 months. Have owned a house before, so I'm aware of the whole process. Wondering what I should do with my $60K down payment nest egg. Any advice helps. Thanks in advance. Well, my first question is, why are you getting back into the home buying situation when you already got out of it? If this is you've owned a house before, so you've been in it before, and you got out, and now you want to go in again, and you're only 27. So I guess I'm wondering, what is your history? Was it an investment property that you did, and then you got out of it, and now you're going on one for yourself? Personally, as a homeowner, and I know you said you've already gone through the process, but I wouldn't rush this because owning a home isn't what it's cracked up to be. I know it's like the American dream. Everyone wants to own a home, but at the end of the day, so much shit can go wrong, and we're responsible. We are absolutely responsible. The other day, driving my kids home from daycare and hit the button for the garage door. It starts going up and then it just slams shut because the whole thing broke. The whole contraption broke. And it was like, well, great. I got to leave my car outside. It was a big storm, actually. It was quite annoying. I know this is a first world problem for sure. But at the end of the day, it's we have to fix that. We had to have someone come out. They came out the next day, which was great. And it was like a few $100. We were not planning on spending that few $100 on that thing, right? And that's just one example. There's just one example. So I don't think people should rush into this, especially you. You're 27 years old. You're crushing it in your portfolio. This is insane. So I'm like, what is this guy's or gal's background that they're crushing it at 27? I certainly didn't have that. So the interest rates may never fall for a while. So if this is something that you need to do right now, then jump into it. But I would say just wait. Just wait, especially because you haven't found a house. You're 27. Just wait. Just wait until you find the perfect one, and then just go for it. At that point, $60,000. I mean, that should get you a pretty good down payment on a house that you're looking at. I don't know how much money you make. You didn't really say, and I don't know what the plan is. Are you going to be continuing pumping into this investment portfolio? Are you going to be pushing more towards, we'll call these, you said that your outside is your liquid cash. So I'm assuming this is cash. So yeah, what do your finances look like right now is a kind of a question back to you. But at the end of the day, you're crushing it. Don't rush into it. Let's jump into the next one. All right, so this one was from 1 day ago. I can finally save but need a new car. What's the best strategy? I have $3K in savings and I can save about $1,000 a month, but I need a car. What's the best strategy here? Should I finance a car or something? I do not need the car right now, but within 6 months, I will need it for sure. What would you do? I'm afraid of also buying a beater and throw money in there. I feel horrible just using my savings into getting a car. Any suggestions? My job is within walking distance, but I will need a car to take a family member to regular checkups. Any idea what would be the best course of action? Okay, so really interesting here. Can finally save, but I need a car. So in 6 months, you will definitely need a car is what you're saying, but you need it for someone else. So first of all, very nice of you to be taking a family member to regular checkups. I'm wondering though, how frequently are these checkups? Because the first thing that caught my mind is it seems like you're buying a car so that you can take a family member to their doctor's appointments, which again is very noble and that's very nice of you. You're very kind. But is there a better way to do this? Could you just simply, pay for their Uber or something to a doctor's appointment? That seems reasonable. And then you could maybe just keep an eye on them. I don't know how old they are. Maybe you need to be there to help communicate to the doctor. I'm not really sure, but it seems like there's a way around this where you don't have to buy a car. I guess that's the thing that thinking about, because it's like you have 3K in savings, you just started saving, you could save about $1,000 a month. So in 6 months, you'll have $9,000. Okay? So $9,000 can definitely get you a car, but you don't want a beater. So you're also like kind of putting that out there and throw money into it. Okay. And yeah, you feel terrible just using my savings into getting a car, because it seems like you would probably wipe out all your savings. So that'd be my suggestion. Like, how can we think outside the box and not buy a car to use for another family member? So I like the Uber idea. Even if it's like once a week, like how much would that cost you? I don't know. Just a thought. Or maybe that family member could pay for it too. It's like, why do you have to do it? A lot of questions here. There's some missing context. But at the end of the day, I do like your stance on like pausing and be like, hey, do I actually need this? Because I think a lot of people just jump right into it. And I don't think you should just finance a car, because you're saying you could save about $1,000 a month. So if you get a car, then you're just going to be saving less now. I don't know, $500, $400, $600 a month, whatever. So at the end of the day, you're doing the right things. You're a great human being. And I would just try to find a more creative solution so you don't have to literally buy a car. On to the next one. Ooh, this one should be interesting. From 2 days ago, my favorite topic, lifestyle creep. Large raise and lifestyle creep. I've recently accepted a promotion at work that will increase my salary by 25%. Nice. The largest single pay rate increase I've ever received. Prior promotions were closer to 15%, with annual reviews averaging 3-4%. With all prior promotions and annual review increases, that money was spoken for right away for one reason or another: growing family, lifestyle creep, inflation. I have about 2 weeks before that first new check hits. So in that time, I plan to do a deep dive into my budget, tracking and updating all those figures. Then plan to allocate at least 50 to 60% of the net raise to pay off debt, 20% into savings, and then the final 20% as kind of a safety net, since inflation doesn't seem to be slowing. With these promotions and raises, I'm trying to make sure I actually get ahead. I'm just looking for all tips or pieces of advice from others who got a large raise and were able to shift their mindset and use it well. Yeah. So the first thing, you definitely can plan for inflation. The way to beat inflation is to put money into assets that will grow at a greater rate than inflation. So if you say saving money, like depending on what you mean by saving, do you mean in your standard savings account? Do you mean in a high yield savings account? Do you mean investing? Because they use that word interchangeably. So I just wanted to clear that up. And I do think, yes, let's dive into your budget tracking and update those figures. But what won't save you is just going into your budget and looking at it one time. You really have to do a full process, and it's going to have to be a lifestyle change. Because what you've said here is that when you get annual review increases, that money literally goes to something else immediately. So if you don't actually change a habit, nothing's going to actually change. So just doing a deep dive into your budget and cranking out the numbers for 30 or 60 days isn't going to work at all. You have to do something on a repeated process, because if we want our money to compound, we first need our skills, our effort, all these things to compound first. So it's kind of like, here's our skills and effort, and then trailing is the money. So once we can compound those efforts and put laser focus onto why we're doing the things that we're doing, then that's when the money starts going. At least that was the situation for me. So what this individual can do is this 3-step process that I like to walk families that I help, do this all the time, every week in my personal finance community. So step 1 is called the 3-month look back. So basically 90 days, where did all my money go? Okay. And today with AI, what you can do is just take your bank statements, your credit card statements, copy them, paste them into AI. It's going to give you a nice little table, a little summary, and you can quickly see where all your money's been going. Then you're going to do a list. Number 2, it's called your North Star goals. What matters to you the most? It could be life goals, financial goals, non-negotiable spending. And step 3 then is realignment of the money. So it's like, where have we been spending it? Where do we want it to go? And then how do we shift things around without making more money in order to do so? And this definitely works because in my program, the first 6 weeks is a cash flow accelerator. So Sandy in this cash flow accelerator found $1,200 Gemma never saved this much money in her entire life. Keisha found $1,300. Kim found an extra $1,000. And this is money that they literally found in their finances after just looking through it. They were able to free it up because they're like, wow, this is very inefficient of what I'm doing. I'd rather be putting my hardworking money towards these things, this, life goals, financial goals, right? So that is what I would say, good sir or madam who made this post, and we can go back to it. Because again, if you don't change your habits, you could do any deep dive into your budget if you want, but it sounds like you don't even have a budget. You can't deep dive into something that you don't have. So it sounds like you're maybe creating, and that's totally fine, by the way. This is not me poo-pooing your situation, but use this as a situation where you need to change the habits. Because I can understand growing family. Like, I've got 2 kids myself, so like dangle a big enough carrot out in front of you guys, meaning like what would make it so hard for you not to keep pushing for? Like, what goal? It could be like, yeah, we really want our kids to grow up in a place where they, they never see us like struggling with money. We want to be able to put some money aside for maybe future education. And we really want to learn, teach them the right ways and right things to do with their money so that when they're old enough to start having a job and maybe they go to school and maybe they, grow their career and whatever that means, right? They have all the things that they need in place. So like, I'm just spitting this off the top of my head because that's like what my wife and I talk about all the time. It's the big dangling carrot that we have in front of us. It's like, dang, we got to figure this out. We got to keep improving so that we can pass that along to our kids. I've rambled enough on this one. Let's go to the next one. All right, this is from 2 days ago. Are my savings okay for my age? Hi all, looking for honest feedback if I'm doing okay for my age. I'm 31.5 years old. Wow, that is very specific. I do appreciate the specificity on that. Disclaimer, I'm ethically against investing all I have in the stock market. Oh, I'm ethically against investing all I have in the stock market. Okay. Don't want to debate that in this post. I still have some invested, but not all. My savings, $67,000 in home equity, $18,000 in investor account, $11,000 in 403b, $4K in health savings account. First of all, unless maybe you weren't clear here, like this isn't really savings. Money that you have as like home equity, unless it's like, So just wanted to clear that up. That's probably not savings. My condo is worth $300,000. I'm planning to have it paid off in full by 40, so approximately 8.5 years from now. Then can rent it out starting at age 40 for $3K a month for life. Okay. So I have about 2/3 of my savings in home equity and 1/3 in stock market. I'm continuing to pay down my mortgage early and investing at the same rates. I believe I'll have close to $200,000 net worth when I'm 35. I know I'm not a millionaire and that's fine, but am I doing okay generally? Please note again, I have a lot of ethical considerations regarding investing. That's fair. So I guess the confusing part is like, if you have these ethical things against investing, like you're kind of investing. So like there's this gray area here and you're making it seem like it's very binary, like 0 or 1. It's like, I can't, I'm very ethically against investing, but then you're doing it. So that's confusing. Another thing that I just want to point out that is definitely not a guarantee is that yes, you could pay it off in 8.5 years and then rent it out. That's amazing. But this sounds way too simple. I'm just going to rent it out for $3K a month for life. Yeah, in theory, that sounds amazing, but dealing with like tenants and, maybe having your condo not filled every single month and just like interviewing people, having them walk through the thing. And it's like people do it all the time, of course, but I'm just saying like you simplified the process into a very small sentence. I just wanted to say it's probably not going to be that easy. There's probably going to be a lot of bumps in the road. And again, I don't think you have savings in your home equity. You just have like, it's like an asset for sure, but I don't know if it's savings unless I'm missing something, missing some context there. But at the end of the day, your question was like, am I doing okay generally? I would say, yeah, you're doing okay generally. So again, yeah, once you have that paid off in 8.5 years, that'll be gone. That's great. So you can start counting down that. But really at the end of the day, you're mentioning, are my savings okay for my age? Again, this goes back to my pet peeve of like saving versus investing. You don't really want to invest, again, even though you are. But the best way to like grow the net worth is by, wait for it, investing, because if we just do like the interest rate math, obviously like having debt is the worst inefficient thing that we can do with our money, meaning like it's not growing us money. It's literally compounding the other way. And people like using debt to build assets, but if you just have debt, just to be clear. And then the next thing you can do is just put money in like a mattress, right? In your like checking account, that's basically the mattress. And then there's a savings account, which is slightly better. We got the high yield savings. There's other things in between there. And then it's like investing, just to say it broadly. So like if you have things, you don't even have a high yield savings account, I don't think, by looking at this post. No, health savings account. So what I would recommend is if you don't want to invest per se, then maybe a high yield savings account is something that you could potentially look at. But at the end of the day, those rates right now are 3 to 4%. Typically over a long enough time horizon, investing in the broad market index funds of the stock market in the US stock market, it's like 8% conservatively over a long enough time horizon. So like we'll call it double the return. And again, investing of course is a risk. You might lose all of your money, but that is going to be the best way to grow your net worth. And if you made it this far in the video, guys, and you're sitting there with your finances and you're not sure what to do, as a parent, you're like, I am struggling. We want to set up our future for our kids, and we're setting a bad example. Check out the link below this video to book a call with me. It's just a friendly chat just to see kind of where you're at with your finances, where you want to go, and then maybe I can see how I can help. We can see if we're a fit to kind of move forward into the program that got other people results like in that 6-week cash flow accelerator. So if that sounds potentially interesting to you, you could just check the link out below. Or if you want to just watch another Reddit Reacts video and you like these, it's right here.